Hi everyone. Today Salesforce Lightning. Today and tomorrow it's a Salesforce Lightning. Today day 12. Let's see what are we going to learn today. So today's agenda is we'll quickly go through the previous session review and we'll talk about the cascading style sheets, how to use the CSS in Lightning Aura, and we'll talk about layout item. And then we'll talk about how to use the image in Lightning Aura and what is Aura Handler, how to implement in Lightning Aura. Then we'll have a quiz, homework, and today's interview questions. Quickly, what did we learn in last class?
Aura ID events.
Local
Button
ID.
stateful,
Button
stateful, local ID, global ID.
We have seen the local IDs, global IDs.
Find component by ID.
Find component by ID and
Event and JavaScript API.
JavaScript type conversion.
type conversion.
Getting values from IDs.
Capturing
Component ID.
field value by using Aura ID. Yes. Events.
Button stateful.
Button stateful, yes.
JavaScript API.
JavaScript variables.
JavaScript variables. Right, so this is what we have learned in last week. What are the component IDs, local IDs, global IDs, how to find a component by ID, and a type conversion in the controller, capturing the field value by using the Aura ID, events in JavaScript. In events, we have seen the two methods, get source and what are the methods that we have seen?
Event.
And
Event.getSource.
And
Get local ID.
get local ID. And then we have seen the button stateful, how to declare the JavaScript, how to declare the variables in JavaScript. So this is what we have seen. Yes.
Can you give a quick recap for our events?
Events. So what are the events are happening on the UI? So for example, there is a button, calculate button, the one which we have seen in the last class. So when we click on the button, for example, if I have a add, multiplication, subtract, division, all these buttons are calling on same component, same controller. The controller is calculate controller. So whether you click on an add button, whether you click on a multiplication button, whether you click on a subtract button, whether you click on a division, what it is happening, every time it is calling only one controller, one method, one function, which is there in the JavaScript. Now, whenever the user clicks on any button, I need a system to identify which button is clicked by user, whether the user is clicked on the add button, multiplication button, subtract button, division button. We will be able to identify which button is clicked. That means which component is clicked. We'll be able to identify using the event.getSource.getLocalID. So by using this, I will know that which component button has been clicked by the user. So what will happen? It will give me the component, which component, the Aura ID component name, it will give us. That's what we have seen in the last class.
So with that get source dot get local ID, we will be getting ID of that component, right?
Aura ID, yes.
Look, what about that only if you use get source?
That's what I have told you in the last class. So look at that. So go through
Okay.
the previous session. Get source will give you the only the component information.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I move on? Okay, so today we are going to talk about Cascade style sheet, how to use a Cascade style sheet in Aura. So CSS. So style component. We use a CSS inside the style component. So in Lightning bundle, how many components, how many bundles we have in Aura component?
Those 8
What are those?
component
Component, controller,
documentation,
style,
style,
SVG,
and
SVG.
renderization, documentation.
Helper.
renderer,
Right, renderer design document. And the last one, SVG. So in the style component, we use a CSS. By using the CSS, we will implement styles in Lightning component. So we add a CSS to the component, the bundle called style component. So in the style component, we will be adding this CSS. How do I get to know which CSS do I need to use it? You can go through the CSS W3 school. So we have a CSS tutorial, right? So based on if you want to apply a background color, so you can use background color or background image. So by using this, we will apply a CSS, we will write a CSS within the style component in developer console. Now, how do we use it in the component? Style component has the CSS will be implemented in the style component. And inside the component, we will use class equal to whatever the style component name is there. Whatever the style component name is there, we will use it in the HTML component by mentioning class equal to the style name, so that the particular CSS style will be applied to that component. And all the component level, that means at the high level, whenever we declare a CSS, there are multiple ways we can declare it. Okay, so by default in CSS, whenever we open up the CSS, whenever we open up the style component, by default, it will show us the dot this. So for example, I'm creating the Lightning component. Click on new Lightning component, LC underscore create CSS. Click on submit. Now, style component, this is the style component. So when we click on a style component, by default, it comes with dot this. By default, it will display as dot this, and there is an open curly braces and closing curly braces. And style extension is always dot CSS. Style extension is always dot CSS. And whenever we click on that style component, by default, it comes with dot this, and there is an open curly braces and closing curly braces. Now, whenever we say dot this means it is a component. It is referring to the component. So on the component level, whatever the elements are there, okay, whatever the elements are there in that component, if I write any CSS inside dot this, all the CSS styles will be applied at the component level, at higher level. And there is another way, which is top level. First component level, then we have a top level. In top level, if I wanted to put any CSS, if I wanted to apply any CSS to the element, then we have to use dot this dot name of the class. Dot this dot name of the class. And there is one more level, which is an inner level component. Whenever we have an inner level component element, then we have to use dot this space dot name of the class. Top level, there is no space between the this and dot. But inner level component elements has the space between the this and dot. So that means whenever we are writing the component, first we will declare the Aura component. This is Aura component, right? As soon as the component is created, it will comes with Aura colon component. So this is at the higher level. At the higher level, if you want any component, all the higher level components, if you wanted to apply any styling, then what you have to do, you have to use dot this. And you can write all the CSS within this. Whenever you write any CSS within this, what will happen? The CSS styling will be applied at the higher level. And this is the Aura component. This is Aura component. And within this Aura component, let's assume that I'm writing a div. When I write a div tag, that means I'm writing inside this Aura component. I'm writing inside this Aura component. Now, whenever I write inside this div component, and if I want a specific styling should be applied to this div. This is a div tag. This is div tag. I have written here div tag. Now I want a div tag to be applied as some styling, font, or anything CSS style I wanted to apply. Then what we will do, we will write dot this dot, for example, okay, the div, I'll say the div. That is a style class name. Div is the, let's say div style. Okay, anything at the top level, at the higher level, dot this. Anything below that, that means below inside this Aura component, then use dot this dot the style. And within this, we will write some components. Assume that I'm implementing a list. I'm implementing a list here. Okay, so the list I'm implementing here. Assume that the list is 1, 2, 3. There is a 1, 2, 3 list I'm implementing. Okay, this list I'm implementing inside this. Now, if I want a color to be applied to this, if I want, this is the inner component. This is a higher component or a component. And this is below this is a div. And inside that we have another one, which is called, assume that order. Let's take a UL. The list is there. Okay. Now for this component, if there is any styling needs to be applied, then what we have to do, we have to use dot this space dot, I'll say UL style. Okay. That means any inner component, if you want to apply a style, then you have to use a space between the this and dot. And at the higher level, at the top level, if you wanted to use style, then just use the dot this dot div style. On higher level, just this. That means this is at the topper level. This is at top level. If you want to apply a CSS at the top level, use dot this. Within this, if there are any components, use dot this dot the style name, the class name. And within this, if there are any component, then apply a space between the this and dot. Is that clear? So let's see one example. So let's take one example. I'll just write small example here. For example, I'm writing some text here. Hello. Let's say welcome to Lightning Aura. CSS component. I'm writing this. What I'm doing is I'm just putting this inside the div. I'm just applying inside this div. Right. And also what I'll do is I'll write another text here below. Let's say that H2. Let's say check the style in dot this in developer console. Something I'm writing here, developer console. Okay, let's save this. Now I'll click on, let's create a Lightning application. LA underscore create CSS app. Submit. C colon LC underscore create CSS. Now click on preview. So it's just normal, it is displaying, right? It is displaying just a normal. So what I'll do is, this is a normal text. This is normal text. For example, if I put a style, I'm just adding dot this. What I'll do is I'll just add the background color. The one we have here, background color. Let's add the background color. Blue. Now let me refresh this. Now what happened? What are the components are there? That means dot this is nothing but the style which is there inside this. It will be applicable for everybody who sits into this. Who are within this Aura component, it will by default apply the CSS that is there in the dot this. For example, I want a different CSS for the div. I want a different CSS for the div. Then what I'll do, I'll just add class. Let's say that I'll use the white. And then this is a one level down, right? So in that case, I have to use dot this dot white. What are the name I have given? The same name I'm giving here. Now here background color, I'll use the white. Perfect. Let's click on save. Now what happened? It applied to the H2. This is a H2. Right? This is H2. It applied to the H2. In case if you have mentioned intentionally that I want a specific style, then whatever the component level is there, which will override with the specific style. Right? So for example, if I write another one, let's say UL. Let me build the list here, align. So let's say component controller helper And the last one is style. Now if I refresh, what will happen? It will apply the base style. What are the base style is there? The base style is blue color, applying this light blue. This color is automatically applied. For example, these are the inner components. These are the inner elements of UL, right? These are the LI is the inner, because we are writing within the UL. For example, let's say that I wanted to apply a separate color for this. Class equal to, let's say this is a red. Now what I'll do? I'll go ahead and I'll add the style dot this. I'll give a space dot red. And then background color, I'll apply red. Now for the first one, I'm applying the red, right? It is overwritten. This is the inner component. This is Li is the inner component. This component, this element is within the UL. If you want to apply a style for the inner component, then you have to put a space. What happens if I don't put a space? What happens if I don't put it? So it will not, let's see the output. It will not update the style color. It will not apply the style. If you do not add the space between the this and dot, the styling will not be applied. And when I need to put a style, only for the inner component. For example, if I add another one here, class equal to, let's say, green. So dot this space dot green. Now I'll put the background color green. Refresh. Why it is not applied? Background color green. CS component is not saved. Let's refresh. Right? The green is applied. All the inner components should be declared in the CSS with the space. Otherwise, whatever the styles you are writing here, for example, if I add another style, let's say that border, let's add the border. So I wanted to add border style. So let's add the dotted. Now for the green one, I wanted to add border style to the dotted. Right, the dotted will come. Now, for example, now I wanted to apply dotted line for this UL. Okay, dotted line, I need a dotted line for this. So how do I write it? Class equal to, let's say, UL style. This is an inner component or it is a top component?
Top.
Top. So if it is a
Top.
top, then dot UL style. Then I'll take out this dotted here. I'll put it here. It's left. Right? So the top level should be no space. There should not be any space. Only the inner component should have a space. Then only your styles, CSS styling should be applied appropriately. Any questions on this styling one? Can I update only the CSS? I have a Lightning design systems also. Can I apply the Lightning design systems? Yes. You can directly apply here class if you want. For example, Let's go to the Google Lightning Design System. So let's open, let's take the padding. So padding. And let's take the margin. Okay, so margin we have at the side SLDS, M left. Let's take this. Now, can I apply this CSS and Lightning Design System together? Can I apply like this? Will it be impact? Will it be work? Will it work or not? Okay, so let's put how much I have added, margin left small. Now right click, inspect. Where is it? So instead of small, let me put large. Margin top. Right, I can add the, let's say 20 px, right? I can add margin top how much ever I wanted. And also if I remove this left, what will happen? Okay, it's applying some style there. So you can use both together. You can apply, let's take a padding. So let's add the padding top small. Applying it. Large. Okay, did we use, okay, what is the issue that is happening? The whatever I'm applying this CSS styling, it is not a Lightning Design System. It's not applying. What is the reason?
Force SLDS.
We have not used extends here. Extends equal to, what is this here?
SLDS.
Force
SLDS.
Force colon SLDS. Let's refresh. Right, so now it is applying the, see here there is it is applying the some information. Now let me apply on here, the top small. Right, so there is a gap came in between this. So I can apply both CSS as well as Lightning design system together. Together I can apply it. Fine. Any questions on the CSS styling? Okay.
Ma'am, this is for complete page. First one.
Yeah, this is for the complete page. Wherever the style is not applied. Okay, so for example, I remove this style. If I don't apply any style, by default, it will take as the default styling, whatever the dot this level. That means that is a component level. So it will applicable for all the ones wherever the style is not there.
Okay.
Swapna, I'm having one question. Like, do we need to follow the same hierarchy? Like, first, this component should be there.
You need not to write this. This is not mandatory. If you do not want a component level. So why we are writing this? Because sometimes in the real time, what happens is, let's take a ICICI bank or a HDFC bank or a Volkswagen. They have a standard color which is maintained by their org. Now, everywhere in the component, I need to maintain certain color. Then in that case, I can use dot this. If you don't want this dot this, that is perfectly fine. You can use whatever is needed. If you do not,
If I use this dot white first, this class next, this will work.
okay, you wanted to write the dot this after this?
Yes. Is it override or it will take just sorry.
Whether we write whatever the order does not matter here, but only the thing is that how the code execution is happen. First, it will cross verify. First, it will cross verify while executing this. Okay, while executing this line of code.
Okay, so
okay, so while executing this line of code, first the cursor will go here. Then after that, cursor will go to the div. Inside the div, we have a class, and class is having some CSS styling is implemented. So it will check, the system will check, okay, there is a style is there. So it will go to the style. It will go to the style wherever the white is there. So it will go to only that particular one. It will not go to any of them. It executes this, and then there is a Lightning design system is applied. Then it will go to the Lightning design system, and all the stylings, whatever is there, it will apply. Immediately the next line will be executed, the next line will be executed, and the next line will be executed. And after that, we have a UL. So whenever it goes to the UL, it will try to find out UL style. Okay, UL style, it will try to see where is it. So it will find here it is there. So it will go to the UL style. Right, whenever we are executing the Aura component, the first line, that time it will just cross verify, is there any standard this is there dot this. the standard styling is there. So it will just check the standard styling. It will apply by default for everybody. Then it will go to the step by step, then UL, and UL it will check. Then it will go to the LI. Again, it has a style called red. Then it will go to the red. And then LI will be executed. It is a green. Now it will go and check the green. So this is how the execution will happen. This code runs parallelly. So it's not that first Aura component will be executed, then only the styling will be executed. No. These two code will be running parallelly because we are referring the style here. There is a reference. Whatever the style I'm implementing here, I'm referring here. So we have a value. Behind this value, there is a certain style is applied. So whenever the system finds this CSS, it will go to the style component and try to bring that particular styling to the component level. So this both code gets executed side by side. Clear?
Swapna.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have
Yeah.
a doubt.
Yeah.
If in div tag we have written more to paragraph tags in div tag,
Okay.
so how
For
to
example, I'm
one
writing
paragraph?
the paragraph here.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
say that paragraph is
Anything.
CSS border for Lightning Aura. I'll write another paragraph. Lightning design system for Lightning Aura. Now here for this class, I'll apply class equal to, let's say, P style. Now for this, let's say, and let's go to the CSS dot this. This is inner component or outer component? So
Yes.
right now I'll apply the border. I'll say border solid. Now let's say, let's refresh. Right, the border is applied. So I have given a space here. So whatever the component, inner components are there, inner components are always applied with the, if you want to put a style, then you have to put a CSS. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move on. Next topic is Lightning layout. Lightning layout. Before I explain, let's go to the Salesforce. Now, if you take this component, let's take this page. Okay, so this page has, so the header one is, this is a one complete component. This is one, assume that this is the one layout. And the second one we have here, this is the second layout. And the third one we have here. Now, if you observe, this page is divided into the two rows. This page is divided into the two rows. Here in between, there is a line. On top, the page is always the size of the layout is 12. So the length here it is the size length. Okay, this page length is 12. Then that means this complete component is occupying entire space of the page. Then below in another row, this is the first row, this is the second row. In the second row is again divided into the 2 columns. Here I have it is divided into the one column is here and another column is here. It is divided into 2 rows, first row, second row. In the first row, complete page is occupied with the header. And the second one is divided, again it has 2 columns. And the first column is displaying the detail section. And the second one, it is showing the related information. Now, how can we divide this? This has to be till here, and this has to be only this much length, and this has to be this length, and this has to be this length. This component has to be this length. How can we divide it? So in order to divide this, I need this component to be displayed within this width. I want this component to be displayed within this width. I want this component to be displayed within this width. In order to use that, we use a lightning layout. There is a concept called lightning layout. So in the lightning layout, lightning layout provides a flexible layout system for organizing and aligning the component. Organizing and aligning the component, whichever the way you wanted to align it, you can use that. And attributes in the lightning layout is we have a multiple rows. Multiple rows is a Boolean value, whether it is a true or a false. It determines whether you want your component to be displayed in single line, whether you have 100 components or 100 components or 10 components. You want all components to be displayed in single row, or you wanted to divide your whatever the page is fits for it. Okay, whatever the page is fits for it, whatever the size of the page is there. On the same page, I wanted to fit my component. Right, I wanted to fit my component. If you say that this is my page length and what are the components I am giving here, it should be fit within this. Then in that case, use multiple rows. Multiple rows means as soon as it finds that, okay, this is the end of the page size, then come to the next line. So multiple rows equal to true means it will display the components into the multiple rows. So determines whether to wrap the child component, child item, when they exceed the layout width, if they go out of this width. If it is a true, that means item wrap. That means it has to come down and display in the next line. And the second one is horizontal line. So it is basically determines how to spread in the lightning layout horizontally. And vertical alignment, how to spread into the vertical layout. So these three are the main layout attributes. Okay, now let's take an example of this page layout only, this page, whatever we have discussed. Now, if you observe here, right, this whatever the data is there, it's everything into the one row, everything into the one row. But there is a gap between each one of them. Gap between each one of them. In a row, I wanted to divide this row into 4 columns. We are dividing this row into 4 columns. First column is displaying the account name. Second column is displaying the close date. And third column is displaying the amount. And fourth column is displaying the opportunity. Right, so this is one layout. This is one layout. Now within the layout, whenever we are using the layout, within that layout, we have a child component called layout item. Child component called layout item, because layout is a on top. Layout is a on top. Layout does not say that, okay, display this component within this length. Okay, layout does not tell display this component this length or display this component in this length. Layout does not say. Layout work is to tell if it is exceeding more than size, whatever the size of the page is there, if it is exceeding more than that, just push that component to the below. That is the layout work. Layout item work is to decide what is the length, how much this component do I need to display it. That is the layout item work. So layout item is component that provides the flexible and convenient way to handle the UI layout. It will decide what is the length of the width of this component. For each component, we can decide it. So in Aura, layout component are used to define the structure of the UI, and the layout item component used to specify the item within that structure. That means how much length do I need to fit this particular component, or how much length do I need to put it. Attributes are size. Size is expressed as the integer from 1 to 12. If you put more than 12, it will not take, because by default, the size of this window is size of the, wherever the component you are saying it in the browser, the length is 10. Now you can divide that length 12 into the 6 pieces or 4 pieces, 2 pieces, you can divide it. And then we have a padding. Padding is specifically if you want to add a space between the component, one component to other component, or a left side, right side, surroundings. If you wanted to add a entire container, all sides, if you wanted to add space, then you can use the padding. So this is Lightning layout item. And Lightning layout is different types we have. One is a simple layout. When I say simple layout is nothing but this is the simple layout. Whatever you are seeing here, this is the simple layout. This does not have any complication. This does not have any complication. It will be showing everything into the single line, right? So let's see this example. Let's go and implement it. So let me take another component, lightning component. LC underscore layout component. Layout component, click on submit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement this page. What are the homework that I have given? Starting of this class, what are the requirements that I have given? So what I'll do is I'll just try to implement first this top one, whatever the top level is there, right? First, I will try to implement this one. Button group, buttons, stateful, everything I'll be implementing it. Then I'll go for this layout. So this is what I'm going to implement. Okay, so yes, tell me how to implement the starting of this.
Lightning card.
Lightning card.
Icon name.
Icon name,
Sorry.
standard
Standard
Aura
opportunity.
opportunity.
Okay.
Aura set,
That's it.
Aura set
attribute
attribute
Attribute equal to
equals to
Title.
ID.
title.
Okay. And we need another aura set called
actions.
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 Attribute equals to action.
okay. Now within the aura set,
Opportunity. Break.
Ma'am, I had a doubt here. Like, even though if you are giving the bold tag, like that opportunity and sales say like what you are entering in bold tag, like both are getting into in a bold way on
Both are coming into the board.
bold, yes.
This opportunity also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's see that. Now aura set is done. Then actions.
Button group.
First we have a, what is this? Button stateful.
Button stateful.
Yes, how to implement button stateful?
Lightning button stateful.
Button stateful. Okay. Now within this we have a certain attributes.
Yes.
Label. When
Label.
off.
When off.
Label when on.
No,
Label when off.
icon name when on. Icon name when off.
Label when off. On.
Label when hover. Label when hover.
Over.
Icon name
Icon
when
name
off.
when off.
Icon name when off.
Icon name when
Name
on.
when icon name when
Over.
over.
Okay. Then we
State.
get the state. And
On
on.
click.
Okay. For state, let's declare the attribute. Aura
Action or a form.
Column attribute.
Form.
Y form. Y form.
Name equal to
Equals to state.
Yeah.
button stateful. Type equal to boolean.
The form, whatever you are saying, that is in Visual Force, not in the
Default. Default equal to false or true.
False.
Okay. So let's use that state, B state.
No. B
B dot. B
B
state.
state.
Okay. Now when it is off, then I wanted to display follow.
Follow.
When it
Following.
is on, following.
Following. Unfollow.
Icon. Utility. When it is off, utility.
Column add.
Add. Utility column.
Column check.
Cross. Utility column. Close. And then
Cross.
on click. Let me call controller.
C dot handle.
Handle click. And let's save this. Now, we'll write. Okay, so let's go ahead and write the controller. What do we have to write in the controller? In order to change.
Handle click. Handle click.
Handle
Yeah.
click.
Next,
Component dot component.
where
Var
we-
v1
Equals to component dot
Component dot get
dot
B state. B dot B state.
then
component
dot
set
v dot
B dot B state.
comma
Comma.
exclamation mark
exclamation.
V1.
Option V1.
That is perfect. Now the stateful is done. Now next one is What we have next one? Button.
Lightning button
Group.
group.
Button. Lightning
Button.
button group.
Button group.
Okay, within the button group, we have a 3 buttons.
Lightning button label.
Colon button.
Lightning button.
Label at variant.
What is the label? New case. Okay, next one, what is the button?
New
New
clone.
note.
New node.
Okay, next one.
New clone. Clone.
Clone. Okay, then we have a menu.
Menu.
Button group.
Okay, button menu.
Yeah.
Lightning
Then
button.
Lightning colon.
Button
Button
menu.
menu.
Button menu.
Does this lightning button
Inside
menu
this.
should be out of a group or inside group only?
It should be
Inside.
inside the group.
Hidden
Lightning colon.
Menu
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 item.
item.
label.
Submit for approval.
Ma'am, item spelling.
Ma'am, items.
Okay. So how many menu items we have?
5.
Okay. Next one is
Delete. Edit.
next
Change owner.
change owner. Sharing. Okay, so menu item is done. Perfect. Let's click on save. Now let's include this into the application. C column. Let's comment out this. Perfect. Click on update preview. Now, okay. So opportunity, Salesforce David, fine. And it is, yes, it is working fine. Okay. And then we have a 3 buttons. And here the button is submit for approval, delete, edit, change owner, sharing. Okay, perfect. Now this is done. Now next thing which I'm going to do is this lightning layout. Whatever we have discussed today, lightning layout, layout item. Lightning layout, layout item. So let's go ahead and see. Now, after the button group, that means after the Aura set, now from here, I'm going to implement lightning layout. Perfect. Now, the format is we have to write lightning colon layout, lightning colon layout. Within this, I'll be writing the lightning layout item. Layout item. Now, within this item, so what I'll do is this is 1. That means this one I'm implementing right now. Account name Salesforce, whatever you see here, it is, I'm going to implement that. Okay, I'm not giving any size or nothing, I'm not giving here. In case if you want a padding, you can add a padding in the lightning layout item. We have an attribute called padding. padding equal to, let's add around small, because I see that there is a space between this each layout item. Now, the first one is a account name. Okay, so let me add account name. And this looks like a hyperlink, right? It looks like a blue color. So let me take normally, let me display it normally. P Salesforce. Now let's save this. Let's save it. Now let's refresh. Right, account name is displaying it. Now here it is displaying the Salesforce. Here it is.
Do we have any other attribute component, ma'am, to get as a hyperlink?
Yes, wait a second. We are not yet done.
Okay.
So here account name Salesforce is there. Now, in case if I wanted to apply any styling, you can apply the styling. Similarly, like we have a CSS, right? For example, if you want to apply CSS styling, then you can put class here. But for now, I'm just implementing standard. The next one is a close date. Next one is close date. So what I'll do, I'll copy this lightning layout. I'll copy this lightning layout. And here we have a close date. And the close date is 3/31/2023. I'm everything adding here the standard. In case if you want div to be applied within this layout item, you can apply the div. That's not an issue. You can apply the div also. You can apply div. So now I'm adding inside the div. Let's save. Okay, it's coming on bottom. It is displaying in the bottom. Now, for example, instead of displaying at the bottom, I want in the same line. I want in the same line. I don't want to display at the bottom. I don't want to display at the bottom. So for now, what I'll do is I'll put this entire component into the container just to make sure that I'll add the border here. I just wanted to add a border inside whatever the layout is there. Between that layout, I wanted to add a container. So what I'll do is I'll just add a container here, div. Okay, I'll use the class equal to, I'll say that container style. Now I'll go to the style component. Let me save this. I'll go to the style component. In the style component, dot container style. Then I'll say border colon 1 pixel. Let's say solid. Some color, let's give some color. Some number I'm giving here, which will come in the light color. So it always ends with a semicolon. Now let's refresh. It did not add the color. Why I did not added it? I did not save. Let's save, refresh. No, nothing has been done. Let me put the margin. 10 pixel, 0.20 pixel. Let's refresh. Okay. Insert, let's see why it is not taking the border here. Container style. Okay, just hold on. It is not taking border. 1 pixel. It's not adding the border. Why it is not adding the border? Container style, this layout, div. Next, name. Let's save this, refresh. Just a second. Refresh. Okay, so let's see border later. I think it is, let me take border style. Okay, so we'll see that CSS later. Let's go ahead and implement this. Now, so this is the account name, Salesforce. Maybe it is because it's in the lightning card. Let's hold on. Save, refresh. Okay. It's because it is there in the lightning card, so that's the reason it was not displaying it. Okay. So why there is a space came here on between the opportunity Salesforce David, and after that we have a space, then account name, right? So the container one, which we have given here 10 pixel. So if I reduce this, then it will go on top. So this is top. This is left, and this is right, bottom. Okay, so if we give margin top, there are multiple CSS will be there. If you directly give margin top, that means only the top will be applied. If you give margin down or margin bottom, so let's say here, I'm adding the margin hyphen top, that means it will add the space on top. If I say margin bottom, it will add the space on the bottom. If I say margin left, then it will add a space on the left. But if I say margin right, it will add a space on the right. But instead of that, if you simply give this, so that means I want a space between top, left, right, everywhere I want to add the same. Right, I wanted to add top, bottom, left, right, everywhere I wanted to add. So in that case, what we can do is margin equal to 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, you can add it. So whatever the one you wanted, you can add. So that is basically divides the top, bottom, left, right. Okay, so now I do not need the margin. Let's take out the margin here. Perfect. So, okay. So now the margin is gone. So immediately it will display the account opportunity, and then below it will display the account name and Salesforce. Right. Similarly, if I wanted to add here, for example, I wanted to add a class here. Let's assume that I wanted to add basically on the header level, let's add the padding. So here I wanted to add the padding. Whatever the header column is there, I just wanted to add there. So let's say column equal to, I'll give div style. So this is the inner component. It is there within the Lightning layout item. So that means whenever I'm creating the CSS dot this, then I have to use space, then the class name, curly braces, padding, colon, I'll just add a 0 and 2 rand. So nothing has been done. Did I save it? Did I save the class component? I saved.
You have written column instead of class in component.
Okay. It's class. Refresh. So there is a padding has been added here. Now, similarly, if I wanted to add at the field level, you can add at the field level also, font size, line item. If you wanted to add certain font size here, for this field, whatever the account name is there, it should be different from whatever the value is there. If you want to add the style, you can add it at the that particular title, this account name. So for example, I wanted to add a style there. So let me add first at the paragraph level class. I'll say the title style. Title style. So this is the inner component. Then I need to add a space, dot this, space, the class name, curly braces. Now let's take this font size. Let's see what is the font size it has. Okay, account name. So what I'll do is I'll see font size equal to, let me take 75. Yeah, so 75 rem, it is displaying perfectly fine. I'll take that. And if you wanted to apply any color, or if you wanted to check any line item, let's suppose after that account name, I need a space bottom. I need a space at the bottom. So what I can do, margin hyphen bottom. I'll give .25 rem. So there is a space added. Okay, so here you can add 1 pixel, right? 1 pixel, rem, different ways you can add it. So whatever that is flexible, you can add it. So I'll copy that. Let's go to the developer console and I'll paste it here. Perfect. Now it is little bit okay. Now the thing is that here I have a Salesforce underscore is there. Now if I wanted to display here Salesforce underscore, now we have a HTML command instead of P. Instead of P, we have a tag called A. There is a tag called A, hyperlink. Now in that case, we have a one of the attribute within the A is called href. You can give a link, or if you do not want, just give the hash. Hash is nothing but just you have given some dummy URL, assume that. So if you wanted to give a URL, exact URL, whatever the URL is there, you can give that URL also, right? So either way, it is fine. Now, if you click on this, it is displaying in hyperlink format, right? But it will not, when I click on this, it will not go anywhere because we have not written any URL here. In case if you write any URL, it will go to that particular page when you click on it. It is a clickable. Now the next one is I have a close state. Let's see the close state. Now I'll copy this everything. Copy and Lightning layout item. After that, within the same layout, I need to add a multiple layout item. Multiple layout item. This time it is a closed state. Closed state. But I do not want a here because it's not a hyperlink. I'm just going to use the paragraph. And the date is, assume some date is there. 10/02/2023. Let's click on save. Refresh. Right. So now your layout is divided into the 2 columns. Now, similarly, you can add amount opportunity owner. Amount opportunity owner, you can add it. So what we are doing within the layout, we are adding the multiple layout items. Multiple layout items. So amount is some dollar, this amount is there. Okay, so similar like that. Okay, so opportunity owner also you can display, which is as a hyperlink. Whatever the hyperlink is there, you can display it. And if you want this icon to be displayed, which button we have to use it, which component we have to use it in order to display the icon?
Icon.
Lightning button icon. We can use icon.
Lightning. Okay, did I not show you the lightning icon? Okay, so in that case, you can use the lightning button icon here. That's fine. So this button icon, whatever the icon is there, you can use it here and here. Fine. This is what we have done, a single layout. Within the single layout, I have just introduced multiple layouts here. I have just introduced multiple layouts. Now, for example, this is fine. This is because I wanted to display in single layout 4 values I need to display or 4 fields I need to display. This is okay. But for example, if I have a component, I want a component to be displayed on the top. Then below in this page, like in full component, it should be one component here. And then I want one component here, one component here, and then another component should be taken this place, and next one should be taken the entire component. Now this is the format that I want. Now I have a layout here, multiple layout items are there, right? This is 1, this is 2nd, this is 3rd, this is 4th, and then this is 5th. Now I have a multiple layout items are there. Now how can I display this? Now whatever this is there, this is what we are using, single layout. Within the single layout, this entire one is a layout. Within this layout, I have added multiple layout items. This is one layout item, this is one layout item, this is one layout item, and this is another layout item. I have added multiple layouts. Now, but tell me, how can I bring this component down? And I wanted to show multiple components. So this size is a 12. As you mentioned, the size is a 12. But this component is fine, but this one, it should be displayed only smaller width. Maybe in some couple of width I want. This is, it should be some width, and this should be the entire width, and this should be the entire width. Now I wanted to divide this. I wanted to divide this. Now let's go ahead and see how to implement this one. So let's go ahead and implement another Lightning component. File, new, Lightning component. Layout CMP, click on submit. So Aura component by default, it will display. Now here, what I'll do is I'll add Lightning colon layout, Lightning colon layout. Perfect. Now within this, I'll add another layout item, Lightning colon layout item. So in between this, I'll just say this is 12. I have simply written layout item, and this is 12. That's it I have written. Right? I have written only one line. What I'll do is I'll include this component inside the Lightning application. Okay, so what is this? This is 12. But how do I know that this is occupying entire or not? Maybe this is showing only up to here, but is it occupied entire page or is it only this one?
Entire page.
Entire page. If you wanted to know more about it, so if you wanted to divide it, so for example, if you say here size equal to 12, I'm just saying the size equal to 12. Let me add in the double quotes. Now let's save, refresh. As soon as I say the size equal to 12, I don't see any difference. I don't see any difference. Now, I don't know whether this space is occupied still there or not. I don't know. Because if I write another one, for example, I'll write another one here. Let's say this one's 6. Now I'll say this is 6. Will it display in the same line or will it display below the line? What happened? It displayed the same line. But why it is displaying here? Why can't it display after this? Because it is occupying till this point. It is occupying till this point. Right? This, whatever this is 12 is there, this is occupied till this, but user cannot see. Just make ourselves get a clarity. So what I'll do is I'll add a CSS. Let me add a CSS div. Within the div, I'll add this. This is 12. And then I'll add the class equal to, I'll say box style. Now for this box style, I'll add a CSS. Let's assume that I'll put a border for that. Now this is within the component or it is a outside? Is it an inner element or outer element? Inner element or top level?
This is for top level. This
Top
is
level.
yes.
Is it inner or top level?
Top level.
Why it is top level? Where is the div? Div is within the lightning layout item. Where is the item? Within the lightning layout. It is inner component. It is inner element. So whenever the inner element, just give a space and then add the style name. So what I'll do is I'll add the border width. Let's say 8 pixel. Now let's refresh. Okay, nothing has come here. So along the border width, I need to add a style and color also. Border style. Let's say solid. And border color. Let's give red. Now let's refresh. Right, so there is some border is applied. Right, till this point it is capturing. Now, if I want this to be displayed at the bottom, if I want this, what are the this 6 is there, what are the next component is there, what is happening in the single row, it is displaying. In single row, it is displaying it. But I need to bring that to the bottom. I need to bring that to the bottom. How can I bring that to the bottom?
Separate page layout.
Why separate page layout? How can I bring that to the bottom? I need a multiple rows.
Can we use break?
Sorry. Can
Is
we?
multiple rows attribute?
Yes. Where is the multiple rows attribute?
The layout, lightning layout.
Yes. So we have attribute called multiple rows. That's what we have discussed just before in the slide. Right? Multiple rows determines whether to wrap the child item when they exceed the layout width. When they exceed the layout width, that means whenever the scroll bar is coming, that means it is exceeding the width. Then say that multiple rows equal to true. So that what will happen? It will come to the next line. So if I say multiple rows equal to true.
Multiple spinning.
If I say multiple rows equal to true, then what will happen? It will come to the, in the same page, it will display bottom. Now, why it is only 12? Cannot I write 14? Cannot I write 15 or a 20? Will it be accepted or not? It will not accept. It says that size attribute should be an integer between 1 to 12. You cannot give more than 12. If you give more than 12, it will throw an error saying that it's not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Right? So here we have added the 6. So let me add some styling here also. And then what I'll do is, this is a 6. I have taken the 6. Next, I'll take the 4. And the next one, I'll take the 2. Right? So 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 6, 2. Next row will be, these all lines should come. So next line, it should display 6. It should display 4. And it should display 2. Because each row, the size is 12. Each row, the size is 12. Now just to differentiate, I'll change the borders here. I'll change the each one style. So 8 pixel is more, let's add 4 pixel. So I'll add this box 1 and then box 2 and then box 3. Okay, so till box 2, box 3. I'll change the color to identify that. So red, green, yellow, orange. I'm just changing the color there. Let's go. Let's refresh. So what happened here? 12 is completely occupied. 6 is it taken up to the here, whatever the center of the screen. And then 4, this entire again this, whatever this column, this row, right? This column is there. Again, it is divided into the 2 columns. Again, it is divided into the 2 columns. One is 4 and another one is 2. Another one is 2. Now, if you wanted to divide more, for example, you wanted to divide more. So let's add, if you wanted to divide 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 everywhere. So below I'm adding just 2, 2, 2. Now let's refresh. So what happened here? This whatever the half page, the 6 is there. The 6 is there here. So it is divided into 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6. And then here 2. And rest of the things are empty. This is blank. Rest of the thing is blank. For example, right now how much is pending here? 4 is pending. In this page, I can add the length is 4. The size is 4. I can add only the 4 size. If I have a 6 size, what will happen? Will it fit within this? If I wanted to fit within this, I need to have a size 4. But if I have a requirement to place it size 6, what will happen? It will move down, or will it fit to the within the 4? Now I'm adding the 6 here. Let's refresh. It will move to the 6 because this size length, this length is only 4. Now I cannot add if I have a 6 length, 6 width, whatever the 6 width or 6 length size is there. I cannot add that component within the 4 size. Right? It will automatically adjust it. It will automatically adjust based on the size of the page. Now again, if you give it 12, what will happen? It will not fit here. So it will come in the next line. It will come in the next line. So like this, you can differentiate how your component you want. Now, if you look at this Salesforce one, now this is whatever the on top it is there. This is 12, right? This is the 12 size. And whatever this is there, this is more than half page. So that means this is 8. And this seems like small, maybe 4, right? So 8 plus 4, 12. So the size is matching. So this is 12, and here this component size is 8, and this size is 4. Now what I'll do is, let's implement. Let's go here. Now, whatever I have implemented, so this is 12, right? So we have a component that we have implemented. Layout component, okay? So this component, I'll take it and I'll display in the application. Layout component. So this will be in 12. I'm calling this component in 12. Then we have a 8. Then 4, that is perfectly fine. Rest all are I'm commenting out for now. So in 8, I'll display some component. Let's take class assignment. Start what app. So let's take class assignment. So that I'll display in the 8. In 4, probably I'll take let me take button stateful. Is there any other component that we have implemented? Start.cmp. Let's take Lightning quick action, LC underscore quick action tab. Requirement 1. Let's take the requirement 1. Let's refresh. Now, where is our application? Okay. Click on preview. Right. So this is on the header level. Then we have this component, and this is some component. Why these borders are coming? Because I have added the styling. Now, in case if you want a space between each of them, you can add the space also. So let's go to our component. CMP component. Let's add the style box 1. So in the box 1, what I'll do is I'll add padding top. 20 pixel. And also I'll add for the box too, 20 pixel, and then I'll add padding right, 10 pixel. Let's save, refresh. Nothing has been. Box 1, box 1, box 2. Box 1, box 2. Why did not apply it? Inspect box 1. So padding top, yes. Oh, okay.
So Swarna, just a question, like when we are adding padding, then it will increase the size.
Sorry.
So we are giving the component size as 8 plus 4 in the second row. Now, if I'm adding the padding to the component, then it will increase the size, right?
Yes. So yeah, component width will be decreased. If you are adding the space, then definitely the component width will be decreased.
Okay, understood.
So it is adding the first one, it is adding the width first, border width. The padding it is taking within this. First it is applying the color, then it is adding. Okay. So let's take out the color for now. Right, so between these component, whatever the space is there, if you wanted to apply the style which is there, so between these two components, there is a background image. Right, this image, there is some background image is there at the background. So if you wanted to apply that, you can apply. So here, the first one is at 12, and then we have that. Then after that, then this component is 8 and 4. So that's how it is divided. So wherever the space between this, if you see the blue color, which is there between each component. So that is the background. The background image has been applied there. So similarly in our Aura also, but we have a background image is a white color. So if you want to apply some color, let's take dot this. You can apply border color or a background color. Let's save, refresh. So that is at the whoever the component does not have any color or any CSS style, by default it will apply everything as a blue. Right? So in the background, everything it will, whoever does not have the color, it will apply it. Okay. Any questions on the Lightning layout item? So it is basically how you wanted to design your page. You wanted to design the total 12 size page, if you wanted to divide into 666, or if you wanted to divide into the 6222, right? If you go to Salesforce login.salesforce.com, right? If you go to the login.salesforce.com, is divided into the 2 pages. Till this is 1 page, right? This is 1 page. This page is having a component of image, and then you have a card. Inside the card, there are 2 lightning inputs, and there is a button, and there is a hyperlink text. This is also hyperlink text, and some text. Again, we have a button. This is one side. This is a 6. Size is 6. So this is the complete thing is a lightning layout. So this complete layout is divided into the layout item 6, and this is also 6. And this 6 they have added. Let's assume that this is an image. Assume that this is an image. Or if you wanted to add some text, they have added here. Okay, they have added some text, and there is a button. This is a button, and then there is some image which is displaying here. Right, if you hover, this is a button, and these are the text. This is the header 1, and these are the bullet points, and then start, and then we have an image. Any questions before I move on? Okay, so simple one which we have discussed, simple layout. Nested page layout is nothing but the one which we have discussed. This is the nested page layout. This is the header. And then after the header, we have a, if you see in the Salesforce, let me go to the Salesforce. And if you go to the edit page, in the edit page, if you see the page layout, how it will display, there is a left button is there. This is the left layout item. This is a middle layout item, and this is right layout item. This is right layout item, and on the top it is a full 12. This is the header, this is the left, this is middle, this is right. Right? If you wanted to divide this, this is called a nested layout. You are dividing your layout into the nested pieces. Header, left, middle, right. However you wanted to display it, you can display. So that is the nested layout. And then we have a layout with horizontal align space. Layout with horizontal align space. So this is basically if you want a space, if you want a space, horizontal align. So for example, let's go to the our component. Between the each component, if you need a space, so what you can do is, let's go here, component. Now on the layout, if you give here, there is an attribute called horizontal align. In horizontal align, you can give a space, you can give a spread. Let's give a space. If you give a space, what will happen? For example, if I have in one layout, I have a multiple layouts. I have a multiple layout items are there. Now, I wanted to add a space between this alignment space. If you need a space between these things, then you can add horizontal align. Whereas we have another one which is called vertical align, right? Vertical align spaces is also there. So if you want to align vertically, so I'll give here vertical align equal to, you can add space, center, spread, right? For example, if you take a center, I want to make it a center. Now let's keep it as save. Let's try. Right, so it is coming, this component is coming, because after this, I do not have any row. After this line, this page is divided into the 2 rows. After the second row, I do not have any other component here. So what it did, it is aligned, vertically aligned, and horizontally also it is aligned. So it is giving the space, horizontal space it is giving, and vertical center, it brought into the center. So you can add a space, spread into the horizontal align, similarly vertical align center. And if you want a spread, you can spread it, and stretch is also available. So these are the different things. If you wanted to stretch your component, you can stretch it. For example, you are displaying the component here. You are displaying the component here, okay? It is a very small component. It is very small component, but you have given the size is 12. Now it's showing very small, but if you wanted to stretch this component to display in entire width, you can stretch it. Okay, any questions before I move on? Okay, so let's go on the image. Image is, this is a lightning tag. What we are doing with the image is basically to display the static resource. If we, for example, you have uploaded an image in the static resource. If you wanted to pull an image from the static resource to the lightning component, so we use a image. So image has, how you are going to pull using the static resource, similarly, curly braces, exclamation, dollar, resource dot static resource file name. And the syntax is image. We have a 2 attributes, which is called SRC. In the SRC, you will give the exclamation dollar resource dot, what are the static resource name is there. And then if you want to anybody hover on this, or if image is not displaying, whenever the image is not displaying properly, that time you wanted to show alternate message, then you can use here some message to display. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Developer console. Now in Salesforce, let's go to the setup. Okay, in setup, how to go to static resource?
Setup need to check for static resources.
Setup, find box, static resources.
Static resource. Okay, static resource. So let me switch to the classic Lightning taking time. Okay, so I have some image here. So let me take CDCA logo. So what I'll do is I'll go to the developer console. Okay. So I'll use here image img, and we have a source equal to how to use the resource, static resource here.
Exclamatory dollar resource dot DCL.
Okay. So I'll just add a source here. Now let's go ahead and refresh. No, it's too big. You can modify this, whatever the length, if you wanted to keep it, you can make a height and width, you can change it. So for example, let's add class equal to how much height and width. Let's click on inspect. Okay, height equal to 100 pixel. Okay, and yeah, height equal to 100 pixel. Perfect. So let me take this style. Let's go to the class image style. Let's say, go to the style. Is it a top element or is it an inner element? Image.
Top element.
Top level.
Top level. So I can use dot this dot, no space, and then I'm going to use height equal to 100 pixel. Where is it? Perfect. So let's refresh. In case, for example, sometimes whenever the image is not loading, assume that image is not loading. Whenever the image is not loading, I wanted to show alternate message here. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll use ALT equal to CDCA logo. Okay. For example, I'll give incorrect name here, logo 1. Let's click on logo 1 cannot be found. Okay. Okay. So it is not accepting, but this alternate will be whenever you do not have any, for example, image is not loading here. In that case, what you can do is you can show some message. Whenever the delay in loading the image, it will show an text here. CDCA logo, some text will be displayed. Okay, any questions on this image? Okay. So let's move on. I'll show this handler tomorrow. That will take time. So what did we learn so far?
CSS.
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 Lightning
Layout item.
Layout item.
Layout
Types
item.
of lightning and
Yes.
image.
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 So how to display multiple components in single page?
Multiple components.
multi-rows.
Using layout.
In
Layout.
layout, what is the attribute we use it?
Layout item.
Layout item.
Layout items.
Layout item. How to apply CSS for inner element?
Classic by adding space. Class equal to
Dot this space
Space
dot.
dot
class name.
How to call the static resource image format?
Source image, source SRC.
SRC equal to
Curly braces, exclamation, dollar, resource dot, whatever the static resource name is there.
fine.
Now, requirement 1, implement this. Okay, this is a title header. And this is some long text. Okay, in this some long text, again we have a multiple rows. Instruction text, some wedge, drop down, legends, button. So again, this column, this side, whatever is there is divided into 2 rows. And first row is completely, it is 6. And the second row is again, it is divided into the
2, 4.
2, 4. Again, this 4 is divided into the 2, 2. And here nothing is there. Next one is whatever the login page is there. In the login page, whatever it is displaying it. Okay, so what you can do is here display some text. This is the text display this side. And this side, Salesforce logo, whatever the login page is there. Username, password, login, forgot your password, use custom button, try for free. This is one button and not a customer. So this is one side. In the layout, one side implement this. Second side, implement some text. Implement some text here, text and button.
Swapna, background also we can apply image, right? Not only the
Yeah, background also you can apply image. There is a CSS command called background image.
Okay, Swapna. So that is also I can pull with static resource. Am I correct?
You can see here, let me show you this background image. So background color, background image, this is color.
I mean, next page.
So background image, yeah. So you can put like this, some image, or this is you are putting in the CSS, right? In the CSS, you cannot call the static resource here.
Yes.
So use something for now, use some URL, which is going to give you some background.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Swapna.
Okay, third requirement is, okay, this you guys have already implemented it, but what I need is whenever I check this off, okay, whenever I check this off, the color should be changed off. For example, right now, initially on off will be showing the same color. Background color is same white color. Now, as soon as I click on, immediately the brand color, the color brand, the button brand should be changed to the brand. And here it is a normal. If I click on this off, this color should come on the off. Okay, if I check this on, the color should be changed to the on. If I click on this, the color should be changed. If I click on, the color should be changed to off as a normal, and on should be blue color. If I click on a off should be blue color, on should be white color. So the button branding has to be changed. Try this. Okay, that's all for today's session.